Many of us look for motivation, not realizing that it's a fruitless endeavor. Instead, if we stop looking towards the carrot and start looking towards the stick, we'll actually start getting results that will help us move forward in life. I for one spent my 20s looking towards the honeyed words of the people who I aspired to be like. Their words would fill me with the desire to actually do something, that motivation to make something happen, and then the moment I started to do something with that motivation, it would disappear immediately. And so, like any good Sith, I learnt to then start looking towards the dark side. So I started to harness the anger I had towards my inability to be motivated to take action. In this video, I'll break down exactly why you're not motivated, share the study that changed how I saw everything, and finally give you an activity you can do over the next couple of days to harness your pain and turn it into action. I remember when I first started looking into motivation, what actually got us to take action in our lives. And I thought, oh, you just need to feel good and therefore you are going to pursue something. And although there is a very, very small semblance of truth in that, most of the truth actually comes from the fact that all of that is wrong. If you are purely relying on positive emotions in order to drive you forward, you are going to fail. The idea of motivation that most people have is that people go, you need to do this, you'll feel good, you'll achieve all these things. And then people go, yes, that's what I want, I'm going to go do it. But actually, that is exactly why most people fail. They don't have anything that's keeping them accountable. They don't have anything that's pushing them from behind while they're trying to run forward. And it doesn't help that in modern day society, our worst condition is the ability to be motivated, because we are constantly flooded with all of these different posts and shares and everything that everyone else wants us to see. All of those are designed to keep us addicted, designed to keep us happy, because at the base of it all, they flood our dopamine receptors. Now, if you start looking into dopamine, I'm sure you'll find thousands of different ways that it's explained. The way that I understand it, however, is that dopamine is a pleasure receptor in the brain. When we are attempting to do something that is going to have a positive result, our brain goes, oh, this is good, flood the good feelings. Originally, back in the day, this was found in the food that gave us the energy to survive and continue another day. But again, in our modern day society, it is swipe, yay, swipe, yay, swipe, yay. And that trap is exactly why most of us sit going, I want to be doing something positive with my life. I just find myself drained and honestly wanting to sit here and scroll more because that makes my brain happy, and eventually it just leads to you sitting there doing nothing and kind of hating the fact that you're not doing anything. And if that feels like a personalized attack, I'm sorry, but I'm explaining my own experience. It is not uncommon. So yes, you may be motivated after watching a David Goggins video for the next couple of hours, if not a day or two. But the thing is, you'll find yourself exactly where you are after that motivation has run out. So the question then becomes, what is the thing that you can rely on in order to help push you through these actions every day to keep you motivated throughout all this? You don't need to find the motivation elsewhere, you find it through your actions. See, if you are watching this, chances are you are comfortable. You are in a reality in which you are not suffering. You are able to sit down and watch a video like this going, why am I not motivated to do more? That isn't to say that you don't have bad things in your life. What I'm saying is that the goals you are actively trying to work towards are being blocked because in those areas of your life, you are comfortable. It may be that you want to earn more money, but right now you're in a job that is comfortable. You are doing enough to get paid a decent amount that will keep your lifestyle exactly how it is. And because of that, there is no dopamine released to you when you are pursuing something that is outside of that, to improve that, to change that. Because right now that is safe. Your survival is based around that comfort. So at the very base of it, you need to first realize, in order to achieve the goals you want to achieve, you need to destroy the comfort you have now. So what I'm saying is that if you are actively wanting change, be ready to throw away what you have right now. It's not going to be easy, it's not going to be comfortable, but on the other side of that is exactly the results you're actively trying to achieve. And it's all good and well to say that, but let me introduce you to a study that fundamentally changed how I thought about the world. Now this, from all places, comes from an economics study. That study being focused on the concept of prospect theory. Now at a basic level, this study talks about the risk someone is willing to put in order to stop losing something or to achieve something. So plotting it out on a graph, it looks like this. There is the axis in which you are willing to risk, so how much you're willing to risk, and then overall the results you get, both positive and negative, from taking those risks and the amount that you would either win or lose. Now the two most interesting aspects I learned from this was, one, after a certain point, the amount of risk you have gets diminished purely because of your perception of that thing. So let's say you're looking at this part of the graph. You are going to see that as you are winning more, you are less and less likely to feel more motivated to continue along that route, because at a certain point you become desensitized to the amount that you're winning. So let's put this in perspective. Right here, you are going to risk something in order to potentially gain $10. That's huge. You could just be getting $10. But here on the graph, you could be winning $1,000. And you can see there is so much more motivation towards winning that. There is this high risk, high reward mentality. You're going, this is exciting, let me go for it. But eventually, at this point, when you have $1,010, It's almost exactly the same as $1,000 because in contrast to the original $10, which is a huge gain from nothing, an extra $10 on 1,000 really isn't that much. And then eventually it peters out from there. It slightly does go up a little bit more, but the concept being, after a certain point, the amount you're going to win does not directly correlate to the amount of risk you're willing to put in. It peters out, you just feel the same. And it's the same when you start looking at the negative side of things. But one interesting aspect is when you look at here, the drop in relation to the risk of losing something is far more drastic than the rise of the risk of winning something. People are much more motivated to fight towards not losing something than it is to fight towards gaining something. Charting it out just simply on this graph, if you are to win $100 or lose $100, you can see here that the risk factor of losing that $100 motivates you so much more from the original standpoint you were at compared to winning something. This is the carrot and stick at work. Yes, the carrot will work to a certain point. You could go, oh, I could win $100. And yeah, that might work for a while. But the same concept of going, ooh, I might lose $100 here, is going to make your actions so much more motivated to actively keep that $100. And the most fascinating thing about this whole graph, imagine you're in a situation where either you are going to lose $50 outright, or you can do a coin flip. Depending on that coin flip, if you succeed, you don't have to owe anything. But if you fail, you're going to lose $100. The logical aspect here is just pay the $50 and then realize that, oh, okay, cool, it could have been worse. But people are so much more motivated to go, I'm going to risk it because then I might not lose anything. Not realizing that you, if you fail, are going to lose twice as much if you were just going to agree to the first payment. And the beautiful thing is, we can use this in real life. We can use this mentality of losing something, of giving us more pain in order to achieve something greater. So the question is, how can you do this? So looking back towards our current state, if our dopamine receptors are so driven by these quick fixes, one thing we need to first do is introduce that pain element. One of the more effective methods that I've found work for me is that of a dopamine detox. Now, if you've ever come across a dopamine detox, this is exactly what the namesake says. You are going to detox yourself from the concept of dopamine. You are going to remove it from your life, and then you just sit in the pain and suffering that comes from it. That pain is going to be boredom. In order to do this correctly, what you're going to do is you're going to pick a day. Make sure that there's not going to be any sort of interruption of anything that you need to get done. And in that day, you are going to do nothing. You're going to sit there. No social media, no scrolling, no videos. If you want to go extreme about it, no music, no sugary foods, nothing that will give you an instant pleasure from doing it. It sounds easy, but I can guarantee if you're anything like me, it's going to be one of the worst days of your life because you're sitting there going, the hell am I doing with myself? And you'll find yourself instinctively grabbing for your phone, instinctively grabbing for that food, whatever it is. The thing is, you need to acknowledge that you are sitting in this discomfort. You are sitting in this pain because that is the thing on the other side. Once you no longer have your brain going, I need all of these things, you can reset it to focus on the things that you want it to do. See, because when your brain is suffering and going, just give me something to do other than sitting here and doing nothing, you can go, okay, well, here's this activity that you said you didn't want to do previously, but I kind of want to get the results of that. So that's going to be the interesting thing to you now. If you're someone who has been wanting to read more in your life, then don't allow yourself to do anything for that first day. And then on the second day, allow yourself to read. Allow yourself that reprieve from nothingness. Because then the reading becomes the interesting thing. You will find yourself motivated to do the reading because that's the only thing you're allowing yourself to do. See, because through all of this, the idea is creating the intentional suffering of desires and disconnecting it from everything you know so that you can then reconnect it to whatever you actively want to desire. One of my favorite examples of this was Stephen King. Basically, every time he went to go write something, he was allowed to do two things. He went to his cabin, he sat down, he was either allowed to write or do nothing. And that concept of going, I can sit here and exist, and nothing is bad about that. But I can only either write what I'm trying to write, or sit here and do nothing. And that binary choice of going, I can either suffer or do the thing that I know that I should be doing, gives them this motivation to continue doing the thing that he knows he wants to do. And again, it sounds easy, but you'll be surprised at how often just instinctively you go to grab your phone or you play music or whatever it is, that thing that will get you away from doing the thing you know you want to do. Because right now, that is the comfortable life you get to live. But that also comes at the cost of never being motivated to actively doing the things you want to do. And yes, you can go easier versions of this. You can go, oh, okay, well, I'm going to schedule out all of my media consumption and social media between the hours of 6 and 8 at night. That in itself is still a detox for 22 hours of the day. That's huge. It doesn't need to be cold turkey of every aspect. You can allow yourself the reprieve, because going in cold turkey can also be something that really is detrimental because it's a shock to your system and it can just lead you to being angry and aggressive and whatnot, which not everyone wants to use. That said, if you are like me and you like to dip into that dark side, embrace that inner Sith, you can use that then to motivate yourself towards the actions you want to achieve. So see if you can find the challenge. See if you can sit down for a day and do nothing. exist in nothingness, and then come out the other side of that reconnecting all of those lost threads of dopamine hits that you can then put towards the actions you want to be doing. And so if after all of that you still feel motivated to understand more of how your brain works and introduce aspects like gamification, the way of turning video game addictions into real life progress, then check out this video. It's me basically living the past 365 days of my life like a video game and how that's improved it. And likewise, if you want more of this sort of stuff that's focused on self-development, motivation through the lens of gamification and whatnot, click subscribe, because that's a lot of the stuff that I make here, and I'd love to have you along for the journey.